Hey everyone, Lynn Cutsforth here. Just checking in this week. Don't know how your week has been, but mine has just felt really kind of disconnected, kind of frustrating. I'm weary. Some of it might be the weather. I know I have a lot going on, a lot on my plate, but I've also had multiple conversations with different people, all different circumstances, and it's kind of surrounding this one topic on healthy relationships. And I just had to come on and just share a couple thoughts on healthy relationships, especially because I did it all wrong before I did it right. So I love that at this point, at least I'm on the right side of it and understand it. So I've improved or corrected most of my relationships, at least to the best of my ability. I have good relationships now. But just hearing people's heart and how they're in these situations that are just seemingly impossible and no way out. And I just wanted to share the scripture is Romans 12, 17 and 18. And this is from the NIV version. Do not repay anyone evil for evil. Be careful to do what is right in the eyes of everyone. And I love this version especially because it says, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. And I've remembered that scripture a lot when I'm struggling in a relationship, and it's like, okay, what can I do for this relationship? What is my part in it? And I found that was really the changing force for me when my relationship started to improve. And it started with my marriage at the time, many years ago, where we just had some tough things, and I was at Rocky's throat and he would just retreat. That was kind of how we operated for a time. And I realized, like, what is my part in it? It might be a small part, it might be a major part. For me, in that relationship with my marriage, I played a major part in it not being healthy. Years later, I had different relationships where my part was, it seemed, smaller and less, I guess, dangerous or volatile or whatever. But I still always started to go to God and just say, okay, God, what is my part in this? Am I assuming something? Is my perception off? Am I basing everything out of emotion? Am I getting offended and I shouldn't be offended? What is it? Is it, am I putting somebody in a box and thinking this is who they are and they can't change? And so I just started to address people differently. And when I had trouble, is to just go, okay, how can we move forward? It wasn't, I'm really ticked off because you did blah, 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 blah. It was, okay, so I'm really struggling with something here, and I'm just wondering how can we move forward to get past this, rather than, pointing you or pointing at them or saying, you did this, or more accusing or condemning. It was, even though, and in some things, I didn't even feel like I did anything wrong, but just say, hey, how can we fix this? How can we move forward? And I can't say that every single thing was perfect, because sometimes even if I was willing, other people weren't willing, and that's okay. And so then I think you do what you can do, and then you just let it go. If it's not fixable, you have to let it go, and sometimes that's very painful, but that's part of the process of just for your own sake, for your own health, maybe for the boundaries that you need to have. But other ones that somebody is, still communicating and still like, okay, yeah, let's try to work on this, then it's just persevering through to keep hearing each other and creating a safe place to talk. And that became really, really important when I started to realize that, especially in my marriage at the time, that we had gotten to the point that we created a very safe place where there was nothing off the table. Everything could be talked about, and there was never a response on either side where we were insecure about our relationship because something was exposed, that we had shame or condemnation, that we felt guilty, or and just feeling like something wasn't fixable, because that person was completely safe with the information I was bringing, or that that my late husband was bringing to me. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know you could have a relationship like this. It was amazing. And I started to realize, again, going through teenage years with my kids, that's difficult years. It's very challenging. It can be exasperating as a parent, but getting that same thought of, I have got to create a safe place that no matter what my kids say, no matter what they do, yes, we have our times where we're exasperated and irritated with each other, but when you can create a safe place that no matter what they come to you with, you're going to respond calmly, without yelling, without shaming, without feeling guilty, but not accepting just anything like, oh, well, yeah, that's okay if you did X, Y, or Z. Because really, there are standards, there's morals, there's boundaries that we should just place in our life, because it will be healthier for us in many, many ways. And so I'm not saying just let everything just be okay, but also to be able to go, oh, I'm so sorry that you're struggling with that. I'm so sorry that you are feeling this way, but I am so honored that you felt safe enough to share that with me, because that has been life-changing for me with my children. And I don't know what is off the table for my kids. I don't know that there is anything. We've had some conversations in the last few years that have been absolutely unbelievable. I would never have thought they would share things with me, just in terms of relationships or how they're looking at life or their fears or their struggles. It's and I just said thank you so much for being willing to share that with me. That is half your battle is won, that you can even share the struggles or share the insecurities, and hey, I want to come alongside and help you. So just for today, if anyone is thinking, hey, something's impossible with a relationship, or I just don't know where to go, is just don't lose hope. Keep persevering, keep encouraging, keep, just love always wins. And that sounds so cliche, so goofy. I wanted to say dumb, but it is true that if you don't give up, love always wins. It is literally a biblical law. And we don't always see the fruit of our labor right away. It's like a farmer in the, sowing and reaping a harvest. It's a time, and sometimes you sow for a long, long time until you see the harvest. But it also says in the Bible, I didn't look the scripture up, so I can't tell you where it's at. I just know it's in the New Testament. But, it says to keep going and don't give up. And if you do not lose heart, and if you do not grow weary, you will see the fruit of your labor. And I totally paraphrase that, so I'll figure that one out for the next video of what that was. But it is true. It is literally a biblical law that if you sow, you will reap. And so sow the right things, because then you will reap the right things. So that's all for healthy relationships and good communication. So God bless you guys. Have a great day.